Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand up.
Hello friends, and welcome again to another Street Fighter Duel video.
Welcome back, legends, and it's time to fry now with Dan and Blanca. The new next bosses that we need to go and fight, they're actually a little bit annoying, okay? They target backlines, and targeting backlines is a no-no. We hate that, we don't like it, so we're gonna try to counter it. And how we can do that, I will give you some solutions for that. I will tell you some mechanics that we can use, and maybe you can improve your scores, maybe do great scores and better results. So right now, I am in the rank 10. Sadly, I'm not high enough in the rank 10. Now the first one, every whale hit, everybody has some flame chun, so they're dealing a lot of damage actually. But I managed to get the top 10. I don't know how I got the top 10 actually. I wasn't depending on getting the top 10. Well, we got the top 10, which is absolutely fantastic. Now on this lineup, I'm gonna show you the lineups that I did. Let me show you the scores. The scores are really good. Now this is not the best score that I did. And this is not the best teams. I will tell you what's the actually best teams that I got. I got 6 million score with Dalsim team, but I was using Luke. But on my run, the first run, I was losing Summer Yang, and Summer Yang did a lot of help here with survivability, and we did less damage. Almost everybody survived, but we did less damage until the end, almost until the end. So the second lineup, Visconti Vega, did absolutely good amount of damage, did really relatively good. I played on healing, I depended on healing more and more. Of course, in the end, after Elena dies, I play with his C2, and with his C2, I evade some damages, and this is how he stays alive, and we deal a little bit of damage. On the last team, I'm playing the TMNT, and this time, we're not playing the full TMNT. Leonardo, if you don't have him, or Donatello, if you have him even maxed, don't play him on the tag position. He will not trigger his passive, and his passive is getting damage immunity if he gets fatal damage at least one time. He will not survive, he will die immediately. You need him on the main lineup, so you can play him on a different lineup. Play him whatever lineup you think it's possible for you to play. He will be better there to be played on a main lineup. I would highly recommend playing him instead of Rose here. If you're free to play and you built him, play him instead of Rose, he will be actually good. If you don't want to play him instead of Rose, play him instead of somebody else on a different lineup. You can play him instead of Street Poison on the main lineup as well, and you can play Rose on the back line, and you can play somebody like Abel. If you have Abel, you can play him on the back line here, or Suit Abel, you can play him on the back line, because they will be the one aggroed and they'll be in the back line. But other than that, we'll talk differently about different subjects. So, first of all, let me show you the teams because they have the assists. I want to talk about the assists. One of the ways to counter the Blanca and Dan going to your backline and killing your backline is playing Gen. Now, playing Gen will have a Shadow Clone, even if you have him on the main lineup. Also, he will have a Shadow Clone, and the Shadow Clone will be behind the trigger unit. But also, they will go against the target unit, I said trigger unit, wow. They will go behind and try to get the tag position unit, even if there's the Shadow Clone. But there's a lot of scenarios where you are active with this, and the Shadow Clone is in the backline, and the Shadow Clone gets killed. And even if she gets killed, Rose will not be killed because the Shadow Clone will be behind her, so they will target the Shadow Clone. Now, after the Shadow Clone dies, and let's say Street Poison, or she's in a bad position, or in a good position, she's evading, Rose might die, and this is what happened to me in the replay. I'll be showing you that. It's always the backlines, then it's the front line. The backlines are the most ones vulnerable because of the attack. It's targeted as a single target to them. Now, the bosses have also taunt, so that you will follow them with your attacks and go and hit them. We'll be talking about that later. So use Visual EX here. It might help you. It might help the lineup to survive even more. If you have Flame Chun, absolutely perfect. Now she's gonna die if she's in the tag position, but at least your Summer Street Poison will survive, and you can deal even more damage because you can use her C1, you can use his C2, and you can use his C3 again, which will make your lineup even safer. So let's talk about the second lineup. The second lineup, I was using Mr. Luke here, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was perfect, everything is working. The one condition that you need to play with the Dalsim team, since Dalsim is so squishy and Dalsim is in the backline and he will get a lot of hits, you need to play Witch Jury on him. So when they are targeting him, if you time correctly your C3 with him, while they're attacking you, they will make you lose HP while you gain HP at the same time with lifesteal, which is absolutely fantastic for him, and he will deal a lot of damage. You need to start with Fashion Blanca, C1 with Dalsim, C2 from Luke, or C2 from Dalsim, from Fashion Blanca, whichever you want, and C3 from Bison, or Sagat if you're playing Sagat, or Overlord Bison if you want to play Overlord Bison in this lineup, whichever you want or you prefer, or build even more. But Bison, because he buffs the team with attack, absolutely fantastic, and he will explode and deal damage and apply his C1 whenever he explodes every time if he gets killed. And by the end, when you do the super with him twice and you do the Yoga Tower with the C1 with him twice, you start with him, use the C1 of Fashion Blanca, C2 of Luke, C3 of Dalsim. Of course, I was using the Virgil EX here because it was my previous lineup and I continued doing it here, and it's good. It's actually good, but you can manage and survive without it. So no need for the Virgil EX. You can play the Crazy Potato, it will help you as well, or use it on a different lineup. Now, the third lineup, which is a lineup I prefer and I love a lot. Now, of course, if I had 6 out of 6 Athlete Chun-Li, I would play Athlete Chun-Li instead of her, and that would be awesome for me. I will not play Elena because Athlete Chun-Li actually can survive for the rest of the fight, for the end of the fight. How? Because she evades with her 6 out of 6 cards the entire attacks from Blanca or Dan, because she goes, use her C1 and goes up in the sky, do her Sublime attack, hits everybody, and absolutely phenomenal. I love Athlete Chun-Li. Until now, she's broken as a support. If you have her maxed 6 out of 6, use her in this lineup. Absolutely, you will not regret that. Now, of course, Gormagala you can play somebody else. You can play Baddest Jury if you want on this lineup. She would work and hit and deals a little bit of damage, and actually more than Gormagala and more than Eva Ryu. If you have Eva Ryu, you can play Eva Ryu. If you have Summer Ibuki, play Summer Ibuki. But I would prefer Gormagala instead of Summer Ibuki because of the buffs that he gives you and the attack down on the bosses that he applies and the damage reduction, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, of course, C2 from Abel, which is really good. Suit Abel, why is he the top tier? Because by himself, he gives shields to the team. Without using him, his C1 gives shields to the team, his C2 gives shields to the team, he triggers himself, heals the shield. Whatever he does, he heals and gives shields. Absolutely super amazing tank. Now, of course, I'm using Mad Ryu on my Visconti Vega because he goes below 50% HP and he gets the buff of Mad Ryu. Now, the thing that I want to talk about is the third lineup, which is the TMNT. The TMNT, if you have one copy of or maxed Donatello, if you use him maxed and he's in tag position, his passive will not trigger, so he will die when he gets attacked. He will not get the immunities. If he's maxed, use him on the main lineup. And the main lineup, he will give you that survivability and he will be good for your lineup. This is why I'm playing Abel here, and with Abel, I did a lot of damage. Absolutely great amount of damage. I did 600 something million, which is good. I start with him, then Abel, then Action Guy, then Leonardo by the end. And you can go back to back. You don't whiff your attacks. Many people said, it's not good. C2 is bad on the main lineup Action Guy, which is absolutely false. It's with some units like Athlete Chun-Li, with Wrestling Hugo. If you play them on the and use their C1 immediately after pressing the super of Leonardo, he will miss his C2 because there is no time and it makes it go quicker. But with other units that have a normal C1, you can use them back to back and it doesn't matter because the super of Leonardo, it's taking too long, which makes the C1 of Abel slower. Now, of course, if you're using Athlete Chun-Li on this lineup or Wrestling Hugo, you can use his super, wait a little bit until using the C1 of Athlete Chun-Li or Wrestling Hugo, and then by the end, you're gonna get the C2 available of Action Guy. It works, it just needs you to have a little bit of timing. Don't need to go back to back ham on the boss by this way. But again, what we said with Donatello, with Abel, with Suit Abel, with anybody with a normal C1, you can go back to back and you will deal more damage. I'm using Jury on him just to give him the buff of attack. You can use any unit that you want. You can use another Master Class or another Wind or another Thunder. I think Wind because we have 2 Wind, so 3 Wind, it will work. So if you use Wind, you're gonna get the complete buff, the 25%. If you want, you can do that. I would highly recommend doing that. Actually, I will not play her, I would play her. This is a bigger upgrade on my lineup since I don't have any Inferno on the lineup. And Raphael will give you the buffs and will give you the stacks that you want. So let's go and watch the lineups. Let's watch the scores. How much did we do and how it happened. So this is the first lineup. And of course, you're gonna see my Rose dies the first. I guess her positioning was wrong, or I think the Shadow Clone of Gan dies first. And I saw it really late. I don't know why I started late, and it gave me the biggest score. I think I was drinking tea or something. So, as usual, I start with Rich Honda, Sweet Poison, Rose, then Fire Adon, and this is the lineup. Yeah, here I start at like 46, 45, something like that. Yep. So Rich Honda, Street Poison, Rose, and Fire Aidon, and I continue using the same rotation. As you see, the Shadow Clone is standing behind, and when he went to the front and Rose went to the front and Street Poison in the backline, we got hit by Street Poison, but also the clone is getting hit, and we got hit by Street Poison because she's the last one in the backline. Now, as you see, I evaded the damage from Blanca, or I think Dan. How did we evade the damage? When you use the C1 of Street Poison, she dashes back a little bit so she can evade the attack from getting hit from the backline. And here Rose took the damage, as you see, and the clone, is he still alive? No, the clone is dead already. And we lost our Street Poison, we couldn't time it perfectly. And that was everything by the time, and all she wrote. Okay, so that was a good score actually, and you can do better. You can do better with this lineup. So this lineup, and I'm not using Viper yet, so you can use another lineup if you don't have Visconti Vega. If you don't have Dhalsim built and you have Viper built, you can use Viper instead on this lineup and having Luke with the C2 if you want. And if you want, you can keep the same lineup and play Viper instead, and she works as well. So let's go and check the Dhalsim team. Immediately I start whenever I can with Fashion Blanca, so I can not let Dhalsim drop off his foot and get the 5 stacks. Then I use the C1 and slowly use the C2 of Summer Yang. As you see, I take my time completely. An EX animation all happened and I'm still didn't drop it, and then the C3 of Bison. So can Dhalsim generate all of his stacks. And then I wait again and I use the super of Fashion Blanca, C1 of Dhalsim again. And I wait. Look, Summer Yang is not moving. I wait until the end of the combo so I can use his C2 and then the C3 of Bison again. And now we start with Dhalsim. Let me do it at ×2 because it's boring. We do Dhalsim, Fashion Blanca, Summer Yang, Dhalsim, then Dhalsim, Summer Yang, Fashion Blanca, Dhalsim, because I want to protect myself because of the shields and the heals that Summer Yang can give us. As you see, everybody low on HP. Dhalsim doesn't care because he have lifesteal on which jury with him, but it's for the other members of the lineup. And here we go. Summer Yang died. Fashion Blanca with the protective shields from his passive. And Dhalsim, I used Dhalsim, then the C1 of Fashion Blanca because I knew he would die. He couldn't survive the C2. And everybody died except Bison. And he whiffed his attack, as you see here, because the body was still there. Oh, and I did an attack with him. Absolutely fantastic. I milked it to the point, to the end of the battle, which is really good. And yeah, this is the second lineup. The third lineup, Visconti Vega, I'll keep it at ×4. I just want to show you, it's a normal standard lineup which all count on the shields of Abel. The more that we get shields by Abel, the more that you press his shields, the more that you will feel yourself safer. And I will slow it down a little bit when I'm using the C2 of Visconti Vega to show you that he can avoid damages from the enemies. And sadly, she's the one to be taking the hits by the backline. Now you can play anybody if you want here to protect her. You can play Gen on this lineup as an assist to protect her, but it doesn't matter actually. By the end she will die and you will be dealing the maximum damage that you want. So here we go. Visconti Vega, and he does his C2. Look at his C2. He goes back and forth, and look at the shields. We're evading everything with the shields. This is how good the shields are for Suit Abel. Absolutely phenomenal. And the last lineup, which is the Turtles. I love it with Abel actually. I think I'm a continue playing this instead of playing Donatello because I feel safer on the lineups. I don't want anybody to die actually on my lineup. And here we go. So Abel is tanking right now as they drag him back to the lineup. And we have the shields on him. So at 51 seconds I start or something like that. Yep, I start and immediately use the C1 of Abel, then the C2 of Guy, the C3 of Leonardo. As you see, back to back I'm doing that. It doesn't matter, you don't whiff your attacks with the C1, so don't get misled by other people that say, oh, he whiffs his attack, action Guy is bad. There's some people, because they hear other people saying, oh, different opinion than them, they will just like try to bash units that absolutely has no reason to be hated on. And yep, look at the damages. This is all because of the damage reduction. And here we go. So here we're dropping down on HP a little bit. So we try to drop the pizza, and the pizza will save us. Yep, and it made me do another attack. Now, of course, we're gonna lose a unit here or two. Somebody, but we're gonna start and with someone else. And yeah, everybody died, and I started with Leonardo with the last hit and gave me a little bit of damage. The guy is crazy. And yeah, that was it for the lineups that we did. Of course, there's a lot of lineups that you can change, you can use. But here again, I'm telling you, if you don't want to use Summer Yang, you can use Luke. Luke with his C2 will help you do damage reduction on one of the units, and you will increase the damages of your Dhalsim. I did 600 million, I think. I don't know how I can show it. If I can, I will post it as a post, and you can see that. I will do a retry and try to improve my scores and let you know. And yeah, that was it for the video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, we thank you for watching. And as always, stay frosty. Peace.
Time to fly, time to fly.